Well, I hope it comes out good.
Let's see.
Does it? Oh, that's what. Sorry for you.
I will call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of Texas Southmost College. Trustees present tonight, Dr. Robles, Ms. Adela Garza, Dr. Roberto Lozano, Mr. Rene Torres, Mr. David Oliveira, Mr. Trey Mendez, and also present is Dr. Juliet V. Garcia. I just wanted to give a quick statement. There's been some concerns out there and some misinformation. I just wanted to let everybody know that I, as a trustee of Texas Southmost College Board of Trustees, am committed to the partnership between UTB and TSC. The partnership has been extremely beneficial to both the community, has been extremely beneficial to both parties and the community for nearly 20 years, and is still under contract for another 80 years. As a TSC trustee, I endorse the partnership that has successfully united a community college and an upper division university to become a nationwide model for nearly 20 years. The only issue on the table is the possibility of altering the structure of the model, but as a Texas Southmost College trustee, I assure you that I will fulfill my fiduciary duty and analyze all the options and decide what will best benefit the Texas Southmost College District and the community as a whole. If the new proposal does not improve on the one we have under contract, we continue with the existing partnership agreement for the next 80 years. Long live TSC and long live the UTB-TSC partnership. I open the floor if any of my fellow trustees would like to comment.
I second that statement.
All right, if no one else wishes to discuss, yes, Doctor.
I just wanted to, I know that, and good afternoon, and thank you for coming. I know that you have heard that there's been some discordance among, but we're not any different than any group anywhere else in the United States. We are a democracy, and we are here at this higher institution of higher learning, and we will show you that we're gonna set an example, and we should set the example for the rest. That we will be meeting in a civil way, and just to prove that, I did bring an olive branch to the meeting, so that the symbol of peace, and we will be meeting peacefully. So I agree with Mr. Randon, and I concur that we are. We just want to affirm our support for the new partnership, and we will sit down and we'll figure out and tease out things that are important for TSC and for the partnership. So without that saying that, then I guess go ahead, Mr. or Chairman.
Thank you. Next time, bring us the olives and the olive oil.
What I'm wondering is, does the person with the olive branch have the floor? Is that the way it's going to work from now on?
I know, I got the floor. That's an old Indian lore legend.
Okay, item number 1, discussion, summary of organizational excellence report. I call on Dr. Island Arlebies, the provost, to make the introduction, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, President Garcia. The chairman asked to have a brief presentation on the survey of organizational excellence. The report is in your kit. I think you just received it today, so you will not have had an opportunity to peruse it, but you will in the coming days. What I've asked the executive director of our Institutional Effectiveness Office, Dr. Vela, to do is to present a brief overview to you and to give you some sense of what kind of actions we propose we will be taking in response to this survey. So let me turn things over to Dr. Vela.
Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to come present. There has been some interest in this survey of organizational excellence recently, and what I'd like to do is brief you on the results that we obtained over the spring semester, specifically in April. I'll give you a little bit of background regarding the Survey of Organizational Excellence. It's one tool that is used, a good resource to use to help us comply with the Governor's Office of Budget and Planning and the LBB's requirements for all organizations to create a strategic plan and to update strategic plans. This tool, what it does is it gives an assessment of the internal culture and employees' perceptions of how the organization is functioning. This survey is required to be conducted. Surveys like these are required to be conducted every 2 years. And so this is you'll see the outcomes of the 2010 results. So what this tool helps you do, as I mentioned probably a little while ago, is that it assists organizational leadership by providing information about workforce issues and the quality of service that we have. It also helps deliver a method for assessing the employees' perceptions of the organization and employee satisfaction. And it helps to guide the organization's plans for change and potential for success. So when you read the outcomes, when you see the results, what you'll get more of is what customer service outcomes are. The strategic plans require all sorts of metrics in terms of planning and outcomes. And here with the Survey of Organizational Excellence, this is more about employee satisfaction and perceptions. So it's a different dimension of the strategic plan. So this is the way the survey is built. There are 86 survey items, and the questions are designed this way. So staff are asked to rate from 1 to 5, satisfied to dissatisfied, how they feel, what their perceptions are about these certain items. Those survey items are then placed into constructs, and then the constructs are then divided into dimensions. And you'll see scores that range between 100 and 500, 100 being the lowest score, and 500 being the highest. So these, I'm going to present to you the different dimensions and the constructs that fall within those dimensions. First, you'll see work group, which includes supervisor effectiveness and team effectiveness, for example. Also accommodations, which is more on fair pay and employee development. There's a dimension on organizational features like change-oriented, strategic, quality, that sort of thing. Holographic. Holographic means the degree to which all actions of the organization hang together and understood by all. Information is another dimension, and personal is the last dimension. So you'll see that there are 5. This is the response rate for the survey that was administered. It was sent to all full-time employees and faculty, and you'll see the date range, April 5th to April 12th. Unfortunately, our response rate was low. The Survey of Organizational Excellence gauges the response rate this way. If it's 50% or higher, it's considered good. So we were close to okay. But you'll see that another issue on this graph was that we did not administer the survey in 2006 or 2008, but we did in 2004. Here's a brief profile of the participants. 53% female, 47% male respondents, and this is the age breakdown, you can see. Now, there was a question regarding employee retention. The question was, do you see yourself working here in the next 2 years? And 89% said yes. 81% stated that they had not received a promotion within the last year or a merit, and 73% stated that they did not get a merit increase. Now, these are the overall results. Now, remember the results range between 100 and 500, and you'll see that our results are around the average range, ranging between 329 and 346. If you look at the results by construct, What you'll see in red are those constructs that we need to address, that we need to focus on in the next year. The ones in blue are the better performers. So you'll see things like fair pay and fairness and team effectiveness are some items that we can improve on. And benefits, the physical environment, strategic and quality are ranked higher among these constructs. So what are our areas of strength? Our physical environment was ranked by our employees as areas of strength, an area of strength. Benefits, also strategic, which is a reflection of how employees think about how the organization responds to external influences and how those influences help design our mission and our vision and services. Quality, it's the degree to which the quality principles are part of our organization. And burnout, which is good. A feeling of extreme mental exhaustion is the way it's gauged, but this is an area of our strength. We're able to deal with that. And areas of concern include supervisor effectiveness, fairness, team effectiveness, fair pay, and internal. So this is what the next steps are. We have presented this information to our vice presidents, and each vice president has received a report. Now the report is designed this way. There's an executive summary, and then the report is divided into each division and college and employee ranks. So they're profiled different ways, so we can slice and dice the data different ways or view the data different ways. The plan is to address each one of these strengths and weaknesses and make plans for change and build those into our strategic plan in the month of November, in October. In November, those proposed changes will be presented to the executive staff. And along the way, employees will be informed of changes that occur along the way. It is recommended that we resurvey once changes have been put in place, so we can make plans to resurvey our organization in April, once again, to determine how our improvements, what improvements have been made. Any questions?
How does it compare to the 2004? Were there any changes from 2004 to this one?
There are. There is an analysis, a comparison. You can see this in your report on page, let me find it.
Just page 4.
Did you find it? Okay, look on page 14. What this is I don't have a slide on this, so just bear with me. What this is a reflection of the points deviated from the previous iteration. And what you'll see is any negative movement shows that the scores or our performance has worsened, or they're not ranked as well as back in 2004. Benefits is still strong. The one area, the two areas that you'll see are strategic and quality that have been identified by employees as something that we need to address. The thing is, we are addressing them. And we have been addressing them this year. In the spring, there was a very strong effort to address areas of needs for efficiency and effectiveness, and we have identified many items and are following through with those. Also, all vice presidents and deans and chairs have been revisiting their strategic plans, updating what we have done over the last 2 years, and making plans for the next academic year.
And missing the 06 and 08, was that just an oversight, or?
I guess. I wasn't here.
Does anybody have any other questions?
Is this a local survey, or is it state mandated survey?
It's a state mandated survey.
So if it's state mandated, what do you suggest to do in order to get a higher return rate on this? Because with the return rate that we have, it gives us an idea, you know, on as far as the responses is concerned, but it doesn't give us a true idea
Right.
of what we have in this document. What do you suggest we do, or you do, to get a higher or bigger return rate on this? And I think that if it's a state mandated, then we should mandate this survey and make sure that we get, you know, at least a 60% return rate on this.
Well, you know, things that are mandated in surveys require that attention be focused from different areas, lots of different areas. And to me, to increase the response rate would require a stronger campaign for the survey of organizational excellence, getting departments like human resources and the key leaders, the vice presidents and the deans and chairs to make this a priority for, well, namely the vice presidents and department directors to make this a priority for their employees to complete the survey. So that usually works.
Well, I think it's critical that we do have,
Yes.
you know, a higher return rate on this. And the other thing is that we mentioned, no, I think you answered that, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Dr. Robles?
So, what was the total number of people that you wanted to reach? And how many, and what percent, I think I missed it, what percent actually,
I think 50% is.
43% response rate.
42%?
43?
43%.
We had, we sent this out to 1,200 individuals.
And you're looking for 50%, is that correct?
At least 50%.
At least.
And if you're getting this kind of response with the initial survey, I'm concerned with a follow-up survey. And that would be even lower than that. So, and the follow-up survey is just as important, because this is when you're
Sure.
going to find out whether you're making any difference or not. So
Right.
I think that the campaign should be made to get a larger return, and also for the follow-up to be the same thing, because we can't get a true picture of this survey unless we get a bigger return.
I agree. And we also can't benchmark these metrics really, because the data are so old, back into 2004. So we don't have benchmark data from 2008 or 2006. But even though we have a small response rate, we'll at least be able to gauge from now on how we performed from, you know, each year,
When
at
did you
least for the
start
next 3 years.
administrating this survey yourself?
I started at this institution last August.
So there was no benchmarks before that?
No.
So Dr. Vela, then you think April is when you'll do the follow-up?
We can
Excuse
do
me,
the
let me just clarify, there was administration of the survey in '04.
Yes.
And so there had been this survey done before. It had not been done for those
06.
4 years, '06 and '08. And we've questioned each other about that. All we can figure is that it was a lapse. There was no intention, of course, of not doing it. We were looking for a director of institutional effectiveness. During that time, we had a vacancy, a difficult time in replacing that person. So people are usually doing what's most important, and those are the reports that we have to do in. So while it's not an excuse, it certainly is high on the radar screen for us now. We mean to try and get a better response rate this next time. And a lot of things have already begun to take place, including the leadership programs that we've installed to try and assist faculty and staff who want to take or get a bigger role in advancing themselves and the organization and their own leadership potentials.
And just as important, of course, I'm going to mention again and repeat this, that the follow-up is just, you know, probably is more critical than the initial report, because this is where
Right.
you see exactly what you have to do and what we have to improve in, and whether we did or not.
Yeah, if anything, this serves as our baseline. We can move ahead.
Right. Thank you.
Sure,
Thank you, Dr. Vela.
sure.
The next item, number 2, discussion, review of SWOT analysis of existing partnership to have a baseline for discussion. The item should have requested, I originally should have read review of partnership agreement and a SWOT analysis. I'd like to call Mr. Daniel Renfro, our attorney. I'd like him to read the existing educational partnership agreement, just so we have an idea of what it is that we have right now.
asked me just for the meeting, it's about 6 pages long, and he's asked me to read the agreement. I know many of you have seen it already.
Read the entire agreement?
No, just the educational partnership agreement, 6 pages.
Do you want to read the whole thing?
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, Dr. Robles.
I'd like to ask the chair to consider that's an objection, and that we ought to be in executive session first, and then
No, this is the existing one.
the,
You're talking about the one that's in place right now.
The ones in,
yeah, but
Not the new agreement.
the old one. But just in the interest of time, to table that, the interest of time. 6 pages long is that's a lot of reading.
but I'd like for him to read it, that way we know what we have before we can start talk about what other people are offering. We need a baseline.
Right, but I'd like to pass a motion to table that, or to
Okay,
object.
Dr. Robles has a motion to table reading of the
I'll
existing.
second that, and I guess my question here, is there any trustees present that haven't read that agreement?
Well, my question was, that 6-page, it's not the entire document. It's not the entire agreement. It doesn't include any addendums or anything like that.
No, it doesn't.
Is that the
So
original?
we have,
That's the original base for the partnership agreement that was then subsequently modified different occasions, right? So what you would be reading is just the base agreement that was done in 91?
What I've been given is the original agreement that was done in 91, plus one amendment and one addendum. It does not include all of the operating agreements, the finance and funding the lease.
but it's all the amendments that have to do with the educational partnership agreement.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor.
Yes, is there any discussion?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean,
Yeah.
in the interest of time, well, I'm committed to serve more.
So if there's no discussion, then we have a motion, we have a second to table it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Would you please show of hands so I know? We have 3 in favor. All those against?
Against table.
Against tabling, yes, sir.
I really don't have an opinion because I don't see the point of him reading the entire agreement unless it's the entire agreement.
And the entire agreement runs about 75 pages.
I agree, and I don't know why we're reading any of it.
I take your point that we should know what's in the first agreement to be able to work from there. But I'll do what my colleagues decide to do.
As part of the discussion.
Mhm.
Okay, bring back the discussion.
Mr. Mendez, is your intention not to vote?
Well, I mean, obviously I have to vote, but I just don't see.
You can abstain.
Then nothing's gonna happen. But.
No, it will. It'll be tabled.
Well, yeah, I would agree to just table it.
Okay. I'm okay with that, too.
And if I vote, it's 3-3, isn't it?
No,
Trustee Garza said.
no.
I'm
Oh,
sorry,
table.
was your
No.
vote to table it?
He's going to
Yeah.
table it.
Okay.
So,
So we have 4 to table and
5 to table.
5 to
to
table.
table.
So it's tabled then. Thank you. Well then, there is no SWOT analysis because we can't talk about it.
There's
at
no
this-
swamp, right?
Well, SWOT analysis would be talking about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threat of the existing partnership, but if we don't even discuss it, the existing one, it's going to be quite hard to ask everybody about the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of the existing, because we have no baseline.
Does he have an analysis of the present partnership agreement now?
No. It was going to be a workshop that we were going to do together.
Yeah, I mean, we still need to go into a workshop.
But then we're skipping all discussion on the existing partnership, of what we have in hand. We're moving on to the next item. We're moving to executive session.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, the board will convene to executive session as provided by the Government Code, Chapter 551.071. Oh, I'm sorry. I need a motion to convene the executive session, please.
So moved.
Second.
I got a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. We had a productive session, and we will continue working on the proposal, and we are planning to have a public workshop on the topic on October the 4th. Now I will entertain any motions for adjournment. Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Kim, you're not supposed to say aye.